شبیر پر نثار ہر ایک سے فروشتا تھا دلوں میں عشق الہی کہتا تھا ہر ایک سپاہی میرا قبلہ حسین امیری حسین امیری حسین بنے امیری حسین امیری حسین امیری حسین بنے بادشاہ کے وہ بنا تم پہ ہو سلام عمران اور حسن ہے ازل سے تیرے غلام نوحے تمہاری یاد میں پڑھتے رہیں گے ہم ہوگا بابات نزع لب پہ تمہارا نام میرا ورد ہے نام تمہارا تیرا ذکر ہے میرا وظیفہ میرا کلمہ حسین امیری حسین امیری حسین امیری حسین ونعم الامیر حسین امیری حسین امیری حسین ونعم الامیر امیری حسین امیری حسین امیری حسین ونعم الامیر امیری حسین ونعم الامیر دو جہاں کے سیدو سردار یا حسین دل میں دھڑک رہا ہے تیرا پیار یا حسین چھوڑیں گے ہم نہ دامن اقدس تیرا کبھی چل جائے چاہے
چاند سا اکبر کا چہرہ جب سرے نیزہ دکھا چاند سا اکبر کا چہرہ جب سرے نیزہ دکھا چاند سا اکبر کا چہرہ اس سے پہلے مر گئی ہو اس سے پہلے مر گئی ہو اس کی ماں سب نے کہا چاند سا اکبر کا چہرہ جب سرے نیزہ دکھا چاند سا اکبر کا چہرہ جب سرے نیزہ دکھا چاند سا اکبر کا چہرہ دیکھ کر لگتا ہے صحرا باندھنے کا وقت ہے دیکھ کر لگتا ہے صحرا باندھنے کا وقت ہے اس کا چہرہ خون میں تر ہے اس کا چہرہ خون میں تر ہے اس کو یا رب کیا ہوا چاند سا اکبر کا چہرہ جب سرے نیزہ دکھا چاند سا اکبر کا چہرہ جب سرے نیزہ دکھا چاند سا اکبر کا چہرہ کوئی بولا کرب دیکھو اس کے چہرے پر ذرا کوئی بولا کرب دیکھو اس کے چہرے پر ذرا لگ رہا ہے کوئی نیزہ لگ رہا ہے کوئی نیزہ اس کے سینے پر لگا چاند سا اکبر کا چہرہ جب سرے نیزہ لگتا ہے یہ اس کے مرنے سے کہیں پر، اس کے مرنے سے کہیں پر بجھ گیا ہوگا دیا. چاند سا اکبر کا چہرہ جب سرے نیزہ دکھا، چاند سا اکبر کا چہرہ جب سرے نیزہ دکھا، چاند سا اکبر کا چہرہ. غیب سے آواز آئی اس کا سر نیچے کرو، غیب سے آواز آئی اس کا سر نیچے کرو، اس کا خون چہرے پہ ملنے، اس کا خون چہرے پہ ملنے آ گئی ہے فاطمہ. چاند سا اکبر کا چہرہ جب سرے نیزہ دکھا، چاند سا اکبر کا چہرہ جب سرے نیزہ دکھا، چاند سا اکبر کا چہرہ. ہائے اکبر کیسے بے ترتیب گردن سے لٹکتی ہیں رگیں، کیسے بے ترتیب گردن سے لٹکتی ہیں رگیں، کند خنجر سے کٹا ہو جیسے اس کا بھی گلا. چاند سا اکبر کا چہرہ، چاند سا اکبر کا چہرہ جب سرے نیزہ دکھا، چاند سا اکبر کا چہرہ جب سرے نیزہ دکھا، چاند سا اکبر کا چہرہ. اس کے سر کے عین نیچے کون یہ مستور ہے، اس کے سر کے عین نیچے کون یہ مستور ہے، جو مسلسل پڑھ رہی ہے، جو مسلسل پڑھ رہی ہے ممتا کی فاتحہ. چاند سا اکبر کا چہرہ جب سرے نیزہ دکھا، چاند سا اکبر کا چہرہ جب سرے نیزہ دکھا، چاند سا اکبر کا چہرہ. یہ کہا لیلا نے یاسر سنگ باروں سے رکو، یہ کہا لیلا نے یاسر سنگ باروں سے رکو، مر چکا ہے اب نہیں مارو خدا کا واسطہ. چاند سا اکبر کا چہرہ جب سرے نیزہ دکھا، چاند سا اکبر کا چہرہ جب سرے نیزہ دکھا، چاند سا اکبر کا چہرہ. سجاد کے سجدوں کا واسطہ، الہی الہی سجاد کے سجدوں کا واسطہ.
یا ربی مارے شفا.
یا رب بیمار کرب و بلا کا ہے واسطہ، جو ہے مریض ان کو تو دے جلد اب شفا.
بیمار وطن فاطمہ صغرا کا واسطہ، معصوم کا یتیم سکینہ کا واسطہ، ڈوبا لب دریا ہو سفینہ کا واسطہ، اے میرے خدا شاہ مدینہ کا واسطہ.
یا رب بیمار کرب و بلا کا ہے واسطہ، جو ہے مریض ان کو تو دے جلد اب شفا.
بیمار کی حالت ہے یہ دیکھی نہیں جاتی، میں کیا کروں غم سے میری بھر جاتی ہے چھاتی. بس یاد میں تیرے میں مصلا ہوں بچھاتا، جز تیرا نہیں کوئی میرا مونس و ساتھی.
یا رب بیمار کرب و بلا کا ہے واسطہ، جو ہے مریض ان کو تو دے جلد اب شفا.
کرتا ہوں دعا رب سے میں یا حضرت سجاد، ہے آسرا تمہارا تم ہی کیجیو امداد. ہے کون میرا جس سے کروں جا کے میں فریاد، امداد طلب ہے میری تم کیجیو امداد.
یا رب بیمار کرب و بلا کا ہے واسطہ، جو ہے مریض ان کو تو دے جلد اب شفا.
بیماروں کے لیے تیرا یہ ذکر شفا ہے، ہر اسم تیرا ان کے لیے ایک دوا ہے. تو کن فیکون ہے سو تیرے در کی عطا ہے، تو چاہے تو ایک پل میں ہی ان سب کی شفا ہے.
یا رب بیمار کرب و بلا کا ہے واسطہ، جو ہے مریض ان کو تو دے جلد اب شفا. الہی سجاد کے سجدوں کا واسطہ، سجاد کے سجدوں کا واسطہ. علمدار 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 شیر برادر، اب کون بچائے گا میری بہنوں کی چادر. ہائے عباس ہائے عباس ہائے عباس ہائے عباس. مارا گیا دریا پہ میرا شیر برادر، اب کون بچائے گا میری بہنوں کی چادر. ہائے عباس ہائے عباس.
شہ کہتے تھے عباس کے ہاتھوں کو اٹھا کر،
اب کون بچائے گا میری بہنوں کی چادر. مارا گیا دریا پہ میرا شیر برادر، اب کون بچائے گا میری بہنوں کی چادر.
اے بھائی تیرے غم میں کمر ٹوٹ گئی ہے، میں کیسے بتاؤں تجھے تھی تم سے آئی تھی وطن چھوڑ کے وہ تیرے سہارے کس طرح جیے گی وہ تیرے مرنے کا سن کر اب کون بچائے گا میری بہنوں کی چادر غربت پہ میرے حال پہ روتی ہے خدائی جانے سے تیرے دشت میں ہم لٹ گئے بھائی عباس تیرے دم سے تھا آباد میرا گھر اب کون بچائے گا میری بہنوں کی چادر تیری آنکھ میں پیوست ہوا ہے بازو کی طرح سے تیرے پاؤں بھی جدا ہے خون رواں گرز سے زخمی ہے تیرا سر اب کون بچائے گا میری بہنوں کی چادر کس طرح رکے آنکھ سے آنسو تھا کون سہارا تیرے جب کٹ گئے بازو تو چہرے کے بل زمین سے آیا ہے زمین پر اب کون بچائے گا میری بہنوں کی چادر میں بیٹھی ہے سکینہ پانی تو اسے دے دو اٹھو گھر چلو بھیا مر جائے گا یہ بھائی تیری لاش اٹھا کر اب کون بچائے گا میری بہنوں کی چادر جدائی کا وہ منظر لکھوں کیسے اکبر نے سہارا دیا لاشے سے جری کے ذیشان و کریم اٹھے شہ والا یہ کہہ کر اب کون بچائے گا میری بہنوں کی چادر लगता है कि पैरों पे अपना ही जनाजा है भाई के लाशे पे नौहाए बहने का है एक भाई के लाशे पे नौहाए बहने का है नजदीक तेरे भैया ये राख जोड़ती है नजदीक तेरे भैया ये राख जोड़ती है 6 माह के इस घर का 6 माह के इस घर का जलता हुआ झूला है भाई के लाशे पे नौहाए बहने का है एक भाई के लाशे पे नौहाए बहने का है देखूंगी अभी भैया एक और नया मकतल देखूंगी अभी گزر تیرے یاور نہ رہے قاسم و اکبر نہ رہے غازی دلاور نہ رہے حد ہے یہ اصغر نہ رہے رب کی قسم شاہ امام رب کا بھرم خون سے رقم دین دلام جان منم یاسر اور احمد کا دین محکم امام
این حسین کیست که عالم همه دیوانه اوست این حسین کیست که عالم همه دیوانه اوست این که شمعیست که عالم همه پروانه اوست
سلام کعبه دلها حسین جان سلام کعبه دلها حسین جان سلام شمع محفل ها حسین جان حسین جانم حسین جانم حسین جان حسین جانم حسین جانم حسین جان حسین جانم حسین جانم حسین جان مقصد زندگی ہے تیری خدمت میں نہیں مانگتا ہوں کوئی دولت دے دے بس دولت عزا حسین جان حسین جانم حسین جانم حسین جان حسین جانم حسین جانم حسین جان حسین جانم حسین جانم حسین جان ذکر تیرا بنے میرا وظیفہ میری سانسوں میں ہو حسین حسینہ زندگی تجھ پہ ہو فدا حسین جان حسین جانم حسین جانم حسین جان حسین جانم حسین جانم حسین جان حسین جانم حسین جانم حسین جان غربت فاطمہ کربا بلا میں ہائے وہ علماء دشتے بلا میں نہ بھلا پائے گی دنیا حسین جان حسین جانم حسین جانم حسین جان حسین جانم حسین جانم حسین جان حسین جانم حسین جانم حسین جان سلام میوه قلب پیامبر سلام میوه قلب پیامبر سلام زاده زهرا حسین جان حسین جانم حسین جانم حسین جان حسین جانم حسین جانم حسین جان حسین جانم حسین جانم حسین جان پیاسی بچی کو جب مارے تماچے ننھے ہاتھوں سے وہ زخم چھپائے رو کے کہتی رہی بابا حسین جان حسین جانم حسین جانم حسین جان حسین جانم حسین جانم حسین جان حسین جانم حسین جانم حسین جان شمر کا ہاتھ تھا بہت ہی بھاری میرے رخسار سے لہو ہے جاری چھن چکی ہے میری ردا حسین جان حسین
صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ما تسبق من أمة أجلها وما يستأخرون ثم أرسلنا رسلنا تترى كلما جاء أمة رسولها كذبوه فأتبعنا بعضهم بعضا وجعلناهم أحاديث فبعدا لقوم لا يؤمنون. ثم أرسلنا موسى وأخاه هارون بآياتنا وسلطان مبين إلى فرعون وملئه فاستكبروا وكانوا قوما عالين فقالوا أنؤمن لبشرين مثلنا وقومهما لنا عابدون فكذبوهما فكانوا من المهلكين. ولقد آتينا موسى الكتاب لعلهم يهتدون وجعلنا ابن مريم وأمه آية وآويناهما إلى ربوة ذات قرار ومعين. يا أيها الرسل كلوا من الطيبات واعملوا صالحا إني بما تعملون عليم. وإن هذه أمتكم أمة واحدة وأنا ربكم فاتقون. فتقطعوا أمرهم بينهم زبرا كل حزب بما لديهم فرحون. فذرهم في غمرتهم حتى حين. أيحسبون أن ما نمدهم به من مال وبنين نسارع لهم في الخيرات بل لا يشعرون. إن الذين هم من خشية ربهم مشفقون والذين هم بآيات ربهم يؤمنون والذين هم بربهم لا يشركون. صدق الله العلي العظيم.
Ahsant. Today, Monday the 15th of July 2024, is the eve of the 9th of Muharram, 1446. We remind you to kindly keep your mobile phones on silent during the program and always keep your belongings with you at all times. Today's announcements are as follows. Daily program information can be found on our website or via our WhatsApp messaging service. Please note that the gates for both the Temple and Rugby car park will close at 10:45 p.m. sharp. The very first Ashura procession, the Tears of Ashura, will take place in Harrow. Be part of this monumental and spiritual gathering on Ashura Day, Wednesday 17th of July, starting at 3 p.m. from Harrow Leisure Centre. Ashura Day Majlis will be held at Northwood Cemetery starting at 5 p.m. after the Ashura Day programme. All attendees are requested to car share as much as possible. The Ladies Yard team presents their annual Shab Pursa Azadari programme to be held on Saturday the 10th of August. It will inshallah start at 5:30 p.m. with Niyaz and end with Salah. This is a ladies only programme. but please do attend in large numbers for this Pursa program. The Muharram Niyaz Fund is now open. Please donate generously at the Treasury desk. We'll start today's program with a live relay from the main hall from Hussain. Asad.
From Harrow Leisure Center. Ashura Day Majlis will be held at Northwood Cemetery starting at 5 p.m. after the Ashura Day program. All attendees are requested to car share as much as possible. The Ladies Yacht team presents their annual Shab-e Pursa Azadari program to be held on Saturday, 10th August 2024. It will inshallah start at 5:30 p.m. with Niyaz and end with Salah. This is a ladies-only program. Please do attend in large numbers for this Pursa program. Ashura Muharram Majlis sponsorship scheme is £1,000 per night. Those wishing to sponsor either in full or part, please contact Brother Arif Panjani or Brother Sajjad Tanjani in the gents and the chairleader Doreen Hirji in the ladies or the Jamaat office. Muharram Niyaz Fund is now open. Please donate generously at the Treasury desk. We will now have a speech on Who is Hussain by Muhammad Damji. Please welcome with Nari Salawat.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وبه نستعين رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني ليفقهوا قولي. My dearest brothers, elders, Maulana Sahib, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. As you just heard from Brother Muslim, I stand before you on behalf of an organization by the name of Who is Hussain. Now I'm sure I don't need to declare who the esteemed personality of Abu Abdullah is. However, I'm here to share a quick reminder of the responsibility that we all hold to uplift the name of the man that we look up to the most, which is the glorious Abu Abdullah al-Hussain alayhi salatu wassalam. I would like to share a short hadith with you from our Prophet Muhammad, in which he says, إن الحسين مصباح الهدى وسفينة النجاة. That verily, Hussain is the shining light of guidance and the ark of salvation. Now, in many occasions, many of the A'imma have been described in the same way, that they are all Misbah al-Huda and Safinat al-Najah. But on one occasion, Imam Hussein's Ark of Salvation has been described as the Safina that is Awsa' wa Asra'. And that means the widest and the fastest. And there is a reason that Imam Hussein's Ark of Salvation is the widest and the fastest. It is because the sacrifice he gave was the greatest, and the message that he has passed on to many generations before us and that will pass on after us is the one that appeals to the most individuals across the globe. The message that can reach the hearts of anyone in this world. That anyone, if we like to call them towards not just our religion, but call them towards humanity, that we first point to the message of Hussain alayhi as-salam. So what is our responsibility in this regard? As you know, this organization for the last 12 years and counting has been spending every moment of its existence in spreading the name and the message of Abu Abdullah. But it cannot be done alone. And I know many of us have stood before you to ask for donations and to ask for support, to ask you to buy our merchandise. Today I'm not here for any financial requests. Today I'm here to simply ask you to help us tell the world that Imam Hussein's Ark of Salvation is Awsa' and Asra'. Now if I can ask the AV to please share the slide if possible. Last year we had a similar campaign where we asked everyone to go on our website and download a template to post online. Now, as we know, we live in the era of social media and emails and WhatsApp. All of you will be connected to colleagues, whether Muslim or non-Muslim, via digital means. So the request for you today is to please grab your phones if you're sitting in the main hall or in EOC. Please grab your phones and scan this QR code or visit the website. And on the website, you will find links that you can share in your email. You will find pictures, you will find infographics, you will find information that you can share to pass on to those who are not yet aware of Imam Hussain and those who are yet to gain inspiration from Imam Hussain and those who can learn from his message and who can implement his message. And who better to spread the message of Imam Hussain than you all, the lovers of Imam Hussain? How easy is it for us to say that we are the lovers of Imam Hussain? But is he exclusive to us? Is Imam Hussain only for the Shias? Is he only for the Muslims? Imam Hussain is for the entire of humanity. And it is our job to tell all of humanity that Imam Hussain is not just for us, but he is for everyone. So I ask you and I implore you, please, on the day of Ashura, if you are taking a day off work, even if you have to log into work, please take a moment and share this message. Let the entire world be inspired by Imam Hussain. For when the 12th Imam, Ajjalallahu Ta'ala Farajahu Sharif, Sahib al-Zaman, Muhammad, when he returns, one of his first sentences will be, I have come to avenge the blood of my grandfather Hussain. How will they know who is he? Unless we tell them who he is. So I leave you with one last message in Urdu. And you will all know this, but I will ask you to join me in saying it. इंसान को बेदार हो लेने दो, हर कौम पुकारेगी, हमारा है हुसैन. सल्लु अला मुहम्मद व आले मुहम्मद.
We will now have Marthiya recited by Wasim Karim, followed by Abbasli Maraj. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Muhammad wa ali Muhammad, salawat. Hai Ali Akbar, hai Ali Akbar, कहती थी माँ खूब भरी लाशे से लिपट कर, हाय अली अकबर, हाय अली अकबर. अरमान था पहनाऊंगी पोशाक शहानी, अफसोस की रासाई न तुझ को ये जवानी, कैसा था मुक़द्दर, हाय अली अकबर, हाय अली अकबर. इतना तो जरा ठहरो तुम्हें दूल्हा बना लूं, बस एक झलक शहर की सुग़रा को दिखा लूं, बेचैन है ख्वाहिर, हाय अली अकबर, हाय عباس پال کے پروان چڑھایا وہ گیسو آلہ ہے میرا خون میں نہایا یہ کیا ہوا دلبر ہائے ہائے علی اکبر ہائے ہائے علی اکبر ماں تیری جدائی میں بھلا کیسے جیے گی مر جائے گی صغرا جو خبر تیری سنے گی اب کیا کروں جی کر ہائے ہائے علی اکبر ہائے ہائے علی اکبر تم ہچکیاں لے کے جو دم توڑ رہے ہو منہ سے ہمیشہ کے لیے مور رہے ہو کیوں روٹھے ہو دلبر ہائے ہائے علی اکبر ہائے ہائے علی اکبر آئے جو ہمیں لوٹنے خیمے میں ستم گئے ماں دے گی صدا علی اکبر علی اکبر چھن جائے گی چادر ہائے ہائے علی اکبر ہائے ہائے علی اکبر جب کوئی جوان لاش نظر آتی ہے محشر ایک یاد سوئے کرب و بلا جاتی ہے محشر دل روتا ہے کہہ کر ہائے ہائے علی اکبر ہائے ہائے علی اکبر کہتی تھی یہ ماں خون بھری لاش سے لپٹ کر ہائے ہائے علی اکبر ہائے ہائے علی اکبر محمد وآل محمد صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم
صلوا علی محمد و آل محمد لا رہا ہوں میں لاشائے اکبر لیلا سنبھال زینب کو لا رہا ہوں میں لاشائے اکبر لیلا سنبھال زینب کو بولے ہوں گے حسین یہ رو کر لیلا سنبھال زینب کو لا رہا ہوں میں لاشائے اکبر لیلا سنبھال زینب کو نوجوان لاش ہے ضعیفی ہے میری نظروں سے دیکھ منظر کو کیسے شمشیر کو سنبھالوں گا میں سنبھالے ہوئے اکبر کو ہے تیرا احسان ہوگا یہ مجھ پر لیلا سنبھال زینب کو اس کے سینے سے لے کے نام علی میں نے برچی ابھی نکالی ہے امتحان لے چکی میری غربت اب تیری بے کسی کی باری ہے تو بھی اس وقت یا علی کہہ کر لیلا سنبھال زینب کو دو نگینے تھے اس کے جھولی میں دونوں اکبر پہ کر دیے صدقہ صبر ایسا ہے اپنے بیٹوں پر میں نے روتے اسے نہیں دیکھا ہے مگر اب یہ لاشائے اکبر لیلا سنبھال زینب کو روک رکھا ہے اپنے عشقوں کو سب سے چھپ چھپ کے آہ بھرتی ہے میں سمجھتا ہوں مادر اکبر تیری ممتا پہ جو گزرتی ہے رکھے اپنے کلیجے پر پتھر لیلا سنبھال زینب کو ایسے لاشیں جوا اٹھائے ہوں ایریا خط بناتی آتی ہے اور ان نشانوں کو پیچھے پیچھے میرے اما زہرا مٹاتی آتی ہے اس کی نظر نہ دیکھے یہ منظر لیلا سنبھال زینب کو لا رہا ہوں میں لاشائے اکبر لیلا سنبھال زینب کو لیلا سنبھال زینب کو صلی علی محمد و آل محمد
We will now have Quranic reflections by brothers Imran Ali Kaki and Muhammad Dasu. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. أعظم الله أجورنا وأجوركم بمصابنا بأبي عبد الله الحسين عليه السلام. We carry on with the Quranic reflections. One question that I have that comes up all the time, and perhaps we can discuss this today, is have you ever been in a situation of uneasiness when you have tests, stuff that make you a bit stressed, a bit uneasy about life? What's your first reaction? Do you ask, why me? Do you get cracking with solving it straight away? Or do you first take a pause, speak to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and then get cracking?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So me personally, I am the father of procrastination. So to get cracking is impossible. It's always, why me? Why me? And unfortunately, Allah gets left on the back burner. And we kind of forget that our first approach should be Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. No matter what the problem is. And the beauty is how we approach it. So when we look in the Quran, and we'll see the slide up soon inshallah, we see the example of Zakaria alayhi salam. For years and years and years, Zakaria alayhi salam wanted a child. He wanted a boy to continue the legacy. And he calls out to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But the way he calls out is beautiful. Because he's called out many a times. But now he's old. His wife is barren. But still he calls out. قَالَ إِنِّي وَهَنَ الْعَظْمُ مِنِّي. That my bones have become weak now. وَاشْتَعَلَ الرَّأْسُ شَيْبًا. And my hair has become white. The first thing that we have to do when we turn to Allah is to open our hearts and show Him the defects that we have. Ya Allah, look how useless I am. Look at the only person who can help me is you. Look how useless I have become. Zakaria calls on his defects, but his are physical. Ours are more spiritual. We have many more issues than Zakaria had. So first thing is we need to call out to him and we need to tell him, Ya Allah, these are my defects. And the beauty of the dua of Zakaria is even though he's been asking for a child for years, now he's old. He ends the dua by saying, وَلَمْ أَكُمْ بِدُعَائِكَ رَبِّ الشَّقِيَّةِ. But I've never been unsuccessful. I've never been unhappy with your answer, Ya Allah. That means I've always been successful in my dua. Maybe you didn't give it to me, but that still is a success for me, Ya Allah, because you know what's best.
Santum, that's so really beautiful and really, really apt. Because a lot of times we feel that I'm not getting it straight away. But surely there is a wisdom and we can take lessons from that. But maybe we can be a bit more proactive, because this is a holistic dua. Are there specific duas that we can ask for certain kinds of characteristics to help us overcome these trials and tribulations?
Oh, brilliant question, Imranli, mashallah. So, when we look in the Holy Quran, we see that it wasn't just a question of, oh Allah, help me and take away the problem. For example, God forbid I become ill, I get cancer. I can't say, Ya Allah, please, I'm going to sleep tonight. When I wake up, I want the cancer gone from my body. That's not how it works. If I have a problem at work, if I have to do a presentation, and I've never done a presentation, I can't be like, Ya Allah, tomorrow please make the manager forget, or something like that, right? You need to ask for the tools. Ya Allah, make me confident. Give me the power to persuade. Ya Allah, if I'm ill, give me an immune system that can help me. Allow my body to take on this medicine in a positive way that I can get cured. We see in the Quran, when Talut's army faced Jalut, David and Goliath, when Talut's army faced Jalut, they're small in number and they're scared, and they come across a huge army of Jalut. And at that point they call out to Allah. They don't say, Ya Allah, we're closing our eyes, when we open them we want this army dead. Abracadabra. That's not how it works. What did they say? قَالَ رَبَّنَا أَفْرِغْ عَلَيْنَا صَبْرًا. Oh Allah, pour upon us patience. That's the tool they needed. Number one, pour upon us patience. We need patience. It's going to be a heavy war. وَثَبِّتْ أَقْدَامَنَا. And keep our feet strong. Imagine running away from the battlefield at that point. وَانصُرْنَا عَلَى الْقَوْمِ الْكَافِرِينَ. And let us be victorious over the kuffar. Similarly with the magicians of the time of Fir'aun. When they saw the haqq and they saw Musa's miracle was greater than any magic they could do, they fell into prostration. And Fir'aun says, how dare you? I'm going to crucify you now. I'm going to kill you. I'm going to cut off your left hand and your right arm and your left hand and your right leg and whatnot. And what did they say? Same thing. رَبَّنَا أَفْرِغْ عَلَيْنَا صَبْرًا. Give us patience, Ya Allah, because they're going to face torment. That's what they needed. That's the tool they needed in their toolbox. وَتَوَفَّنَا مُسْلِمِينَ. And let us die as Muslims. At that point, they didn't want to turn back and say, Fir'aun, we believe in you now. No, they've seen the haqq, let us die as Muslims. Once we get these tools, then we keep them in our toolbox for life, inshallah. So that's the examples from the Quran. But as we know, the Ahlul Bayt are the walking and talking Quran. So Imranli, what about the Ahlul Bayt? How can we see these examples in the life of the Ahlul Bayt?
We see them especially in the events of Karbala, where we hear these statements all the time, every time, right? What's death to you? Ahla min al-asal. Or I see nothing but beauty. Now these are things when you actually think about it. When you taste honey and you think that there's something sweeter than honey, and they're saying death is sweeter to them than honey, then it makes us think that what kind of mindset are they approaching life with? What kind of mindset are they approaching these trials and tribulations with? And you see, when we think about this and we try and see it through their eyes, through the true eyes, and maybe inshallah we can work towards becoming like them, they're seeing life more than just this life that you and I are seeing in this world. Life is much, much more. Even after we pass away, there's that whole, the akhirah, where we're all striving to get as close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as possible. And therefore, when we see that we are getting trials and tribulations, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has told us this world is a life of trials and tribulations, so that we can use these as springboards, as stepping stones, so that we can get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now when we realize and they realize that all these trials and tribulations are all of that so that they can get closer to Allah, then what is death ultimately to them? If their goal is getting close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, surely it should be sweeter than honey, right? So similarly, when we say in the Quran, it's also said, وَمَنْ أَصَابَ مُصِيبَةٌ قَالُوا إِنَّا لِلَّهِ وَإِنَّا إِلَيْهِ رَاجِعُونَ. This asaba is like an arrow that's hitting its target. This musibah that's hitting us, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving us these opportunities to really rise above these so that we can get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So these are really, when we reframe these trials and misfortunes in our life, we really can make something out of these things. See life as sweeter than honey. See these trials and tribulations as really that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is looking after us. That's why He's given us these opportunities. One practical thing, this Quran has been a real game changer. It's called the Maqdis Quran. And what it is, it's a nice, beautifully laid out Quran, but with word-by-word translation. And just the way you have these words where you see asaba and look at the words for the word it is, this Quran helps you see the word-by-word translation. So that's something, maybe if you can get that, you can get it online. Just type in Maqdis Quran, M-A-Q-D-I-S Quran, and you should be able to get that. And the other thing is, obviously, when we are going through our trials and tribulations, whether it's going through a medical issue or going through school issues or family issues, whatever it is, remember, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not leaving us alone. We need to speak to Him, we need to turn to Him, and watch how He helps us rise above these trials and tribulations.
May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless us all and give us the tawfiq to carry on our journey towards Him. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Ahsant. We will now have a poem by Ramiz Naqvi. Please welcome up with salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
سورة المباركة الفاتحة.
My dear brothers, sisters, respected elders, respected Shaykh, Assalamu alaikum. This poem is based on the story of Hazrat Ali Akbar, the light of his father's eyes. Narrations tell us that once Hazrat Ali Akbar had gained permission to fight, he went out, he fought valiantly, and he returned. He then went out once more, he fought so bravely, then he returned once again. The third time he went to battle, his father, Imam Hussain alayhi salam, knew that this would be the last time that he would see life in his son. This poem is written from the perspective of Imam Hussain alayhi salam with a salawat ala Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad. Slowly, slowly, my son, ride, for your father does not want to miss you so soon. Though my sight weakens, I notice the days getting darker, for by tonight I'll have lost my sun and my moon. The wind whistles now, but cries will soon be its tune. If only you had a son like you. Though even the great men of our tribe are unlike you, O Akbar, from all the heroic and the fearless, bring me one else who would rush to death, one like you. I see you rush towards the evil grins that gaze, those that utter our names with profanity, phrase by phrase, for since the adhan was recited at your birth until now, the only guests to your ears being our praise. I still remember Layla and I rocking your cradle. I still remember Layla and I rocking your cradle as nights turn to days. Now our sun shines and we feel the warmth of your rays. But your mother and I's hearts will not bear your absence, leaving us in a state, oh, so lowly, so lowly. Ride carefully, Akbar, go slowly, go slowly. Though you still breathe, I know they will soon turn your years left into hours. When they see the face of our Prophet, their conscience in them cowers. Though their faith suggests they follow another, but you soon will be able to return to ours. Your grandfather will smile for you. Your grandfather will smile for you as you honored his name against those that strived and sought to defame. For the first time you wrote out, O Akbar, you said, I am Ali, and by God, Ali you became. For our lives they may take, but being from Ibrahim they can't claim. Though the strength of Ali's sons will be again tested, though the strength of Ali's sons will again soon be tested, as I see you leave to the battlefield, parched and unrested, with a heart so full they will surely take that as their aim. For then Khaybar's strength will indeed not go by untested, for you and I both. For your father will soon see a spear between your ribs nested. But I have weakened during these days, O Akbar, so I won't have strength to remove it out wholly. So give me time, my son, go slowly, as your horse edged towards the accursed. As your horse edged towards the accursed, I knew it would soon only be Asghar with me. From Banu Hashim you left us as the first, though for that medallion you had to plea. But for how will I explain to Layla your demise? How will I explain to Layla your demise? What words, what language can translate those cries? For martyrdom we all wanted from you, O son, but not to hear your screams as you agonize. For my tears and your blood will soon hide your eyes. O son, when I will look at your face then, my grandfather, I won't be able to visualize. But this sorrow of separation stretches beyond just us. For I pray the wind will carry your words. I pray the wind will carry your words, so your agony, myself I don't have to convey. For how can I see Layla with that tragedy and that sight to her attempt to portray? For the tense foundations would shake, and the ground it's upon start to sway, as Asghar has now no obstacle between the arrow and his neck, becoming its prey. O Akbar, without my sight, to the camp I won't even find my way. So ask your steed to be steady, and plead your steed stay still. For meeting my grandfather you must be ready. It hurts me to see, but this is God's will. You'll soon unite with our Prophet. You'll soon unite with our Prophet, the Holy. But don't rush, my Akbar. Go slowly, go slowly. Don't rush, my Akbar. Go slowly, go slowly. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Ahsant. Now, a blessing has been bestowed upon us. The heavens have opened, and as you can hear, it's raining very heavily. And I desperately need you to move as far forward as possible. There's people waiting outside the marquee in the heavy rain. I'm sure you wouldn't like it if you were in that rain. So please, can I ask you to move as far forward as possible with salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. If there's gaps in front of you, please do fill them up so we can filter in from the back and the side. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. There is space to my right and space to my left. But with that, can I please call up Shaykh Mahdi Rastani to give his lecture on Islamic masculinity. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
الفاتحة بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Before I begin inshallah tonight's talk, a humble request that inshallah after the lecture is done and the Matam begins, for those who are able to stay, inshallah, please do make an effort to stay. I think it's very important for our younger generation, especially when the recitations are done in English. To build this culture is quite important. Now, I know many of the brothers leave the tent to, inshallah, for the next activities and so on and so forth, but if it's possible for you and you can stay, please do so, especially when the reciters have worked so hard to recite during these special nights. We want to give them, inshallah, the best of welcomes. So for those who can stay, please do so, inshallah. Aloud salawat, please. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله الذي لا يبلغ مدحته القائلون ولا يحصي نعماءه العادون ولا يؤدي حقه المجتهدون الذي لا يدركه بعد الهمم ولا يناله غوص الفطن الذي ليس لصفته حد محدود ولا نعت موجود ولا وقت معدود ولا أجل محدود أما بعد فقد قال الله الحكيم في محكم كتابه الكريم أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم الرجال قوامون على النساء بما فضل الله بعضهم على بعض وبما أنفقوا من أموالهم فالصالحات قانتات حافظات للغيب بما حفظ الله واللاتي تخافون نشوزهن فعظوهن واهجروهن في المضاجع واضربوهن فإن أطعنكم فلا تبغوا عليهن سبيلا إن الله كان عليا كبيرا صدق الله العلي العظيم صلوات اللهم صل على For the love of our beloved Prophet and his beloved progeny, a second loud salawat. For the hastening in the return of our beloved 12th Imam, a third final loud salawat. The topic that we'll be discussing tonight, inshallah, is titled Islamic Masculinity. When you look in society today, you find there are two main models or forms of masculinity that are provided to our young men and to our adult men as well. The first of those forms is a form of masculinity that is extremely passive. This is that individual who doesn't really care about what's happening around him. He goes with the flow. He doesn't really have high aspirations in life. There isn't much discipline and structure in his life. He's not necessarily goal-oriented. If you asked him what he's looking for in life, he wouldn't have much of an answer for you. And you find this is the first of the forms of masculinity that is presented to our young men. On the other side of this spectrum, on another extreme, you find a different form of masculinity that is also presented to our young men. And that form of masculinity is the type that is extremely aggressive. It is extremely the type that exerts effort. It is completely goal-oriented, except within it, it also has a sense of following desires and fulfilling desires. These are manly desires that this person has. This type of red pill masculinity that you come across. And maybe the biggest manifestation of this all was this individual by the name of Andrew Tate. The rise and the fall of this character on social media and in the virtual world, I think fully represents this major gap that we find when it comes to this form of masculinity. You find a person like Andrew Tate is speaking of a form of masculinity that consists of certain values that we do in fact hear near and dear to our hearts. But at the same time, speaks of a masculinity that speaks of values that goes completely against the values of Islam at the same time. And hence, this is a gap that needs to be filled and a topic that needs to be addressed. It was always a surprise for me that us, especially those of us following the school of thought of Ahlul Bayt, why would we need to speak of masculinity when we come from such a rich heritage of male role models as well as female role models. What need would there be for me to sit here on a night like this when you have someone like Ali Akbar to speak of Islamic masculinity? However, when you look into how our young men are coming up within our communities, you find that this is a serious gap and a serious topic to be addressed. Therefore, tonight, we want to take some time to delve into this topic. What did the Ahl Bayt share with us in this regard? What type of values did their young men carry, and what lessons can we learn from them? And the last point I'll mention before we get into our topic is the following. Of those values that we mentioned tonight, brothers and sisters, there are many that a young man and a young woman both have to hold in common. When we call this topic Islamic masculinity, this is not to indicate that a young woman doesn't need many of these values that we will be going through. It is only because when there is a lack of these values in a young man, it presents itself so much more. And in my humble words, it is so much more off-putting when you find a young man doesn't carry the following values. Therefore, tonight is a topic for all of the brothers sitting here from one angle, because they have to work hard and I have to work hard to, inshallah, have these values. It is also a topic for all of our dear sisters, especially our younger sisters, who are looking forward to building a family and want to see what values does the young man that they're going to marry have to carry within himself to be a proper candidate to build a life with him. Therefore, tonight, we'll delve into this topic by posing the following questions. Number one, what are the 7 elements that Islamically we can pinpoint are part of making a man from an Islamic perspective? Number 2, why should you as a Muslim youth, and in particular as a follower of the Ahlul Bayt, have high aspirations in life and not be pleased with smaller or shorter goals in life? Number 3, how is a man supposed to protect his family and be the rock for his family, the support for his family? And how can he do this if he himself does not have any form of emotional stability? Number 4, what have the Ahlul Bayt shared with us when it comes to the manners that you're supposed to carry as a young man? Number 5, what is the one element in a man that can fundamentally ruin his life and his future in the blink of an eye? And number 6, and finally, which of the companions of our beloved third Imam in the plains of Karbala manifested all of these beautiful characteristics? Tonight, inshallah, we'll delve into these 6 questions with a loud salawat ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Let us begin from here, brothers and sisters. The importance of this topic begins because fundamentally within our communities and in the cultures that we are brought up in, typically when it comes to the female, the young woman, the mother in the house, the wife in the house, you find in our cultures there is a lot of guidance, there's a lot of scrutiny. Many families, when you enter into the household, you find this young woman, she has a number of rules and regulations already built into the household for her. You have to come at this time, you leave at this time, you can't just come with anybody, you can't just go with anybody, all of these rules and regulations. And I'm not one to speak against these rules and regulations, because that is fundamentally part of the role of any parent. Any parent who just gives his child a green light will eventually end up regretting this situation in one shape or form or another. Therefore, as long as it's moderate, this is a positive thing. The problem begins when you see the young man in the same household. And you see many times this young man has 0 rules and regulations. It's not even part of the culture of the household that if this young man comes and goes, there should be some rules and regulations. Naturally, it's going to be different compared to the young woman in the house, because this one's a man, this one's a woman. It's not going to be exactly the same. But why is it we enter into some households, this young woman has 101 rules about what she can or cannot do? But then her brother has a green light to do as he wishes. And then, mashallah, if he washes one of the dishes, they say, look at my beta. Amazing. Did you see? I didn't even ask him. After dinner, he got up and he washed the dishes. This is a masterpiece now. Why? Because the standards when it comes to our young men has dropped so much within our families that this has now become the golden standard. If he goes out of his way even a little bit, now he's a golden child. This topic, brothers and sisters, has deep roots in our communities and within our cultures. This is the reason why it is important on a night like this and on the night of Ali Akbar to speak of this issue. Let us begin with the first of those values that is part of making a boy into a man. Number one, a man is fundamentally defined at the very first level by his understanding that he has to be willing to delay gratification in the pursuit of a goal. A man that is not goal-oriented, whatever that goal might be. Sometimes that goal has a religious aspect to it. Sometimes that goal has a business aspect to it. Sometimes that goal has a knowledge aspect to it. Whatever the goal might be. A man that is not goal-oriented is a dead man. He's not a lively man. You don't want that type of man. He has to understand that as he's living his life, he has to set goals for himself in life, number one. Number two, when there are distractions on the way, pleasures, whatever the case might be, he has to understand that he has to build the maturity to set aside the short-term gratification in the pursuit of a greater goal. He has to go out there, sweat, do things so that in the long term he walks away with something greater, whatever that greater thing might be. Sometimes it's his studies, sometimes it's his career, sometimes it's some sort of pride he wants to bring to his family, sometimes it's providing, as we will discuss. Whatever it is, you are the type of person that has to understand, I'm setting aside these distractions because I have a goal in mind. And when I set a goal for myself, that becomes my number one priority. This is extremely crucial. And as part of setting this goal for yourself, do not be that young man that has low aspirations in life. Sometimes you speak to young men, so what's your plan for life? Shaykh, for now we're doing well, yeah? For now things are going by and, I'm going to work this job just so I can pay the bills, I can get by. Pay the bills? Get by? You live in a land full of opportunities. What are you talking about? Pay the bill, get by. High aspirations. Whatever field you want to go into, the field doesn't matter. Whatever field you go into, if you are a follower of Ahl Bayt, you have to do it well. You have to do it in a compelling way. Why are you aiming so low? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has granted you amazing intellect. You know why I know this? Because you're number one when it comes to your gaming system with your friends, yes? That's why you have amazing intellect, by the way. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed you with so many things, and then you're aiming down here. A man that isn't goal-oriented, what does he do with his life? He wastes his life. Sometimes I have the opportunity to spend time with our younger generation, yes? Shaykh, come sit. Now it's 2 o'clock in the morning. Come sit, Shaykh, it's okay. We're chilling. We're chilling, okay. Tomorrow we also have to live life. You know this, yeah? There's Fajr and then we have to go to work. We have responsibilities. There's things it's okay, Shaykh. No, it's fine. Nothing to worry about. This is number one. A young man has to be goal-oriented. He has to have high aspirations. Why high aspirations? I say this and I hope that our young men hear this message, because this is what resonated with me personally at a really young age. Brothers, you have to understand, you are a minority within a minority within a minority. You have a very unique place in society and in history. You're given this very unique role, and then we're walking around wasting our life. What is the minority within the minority within the minority? First of all, you're Muslim. That already puts you in maybe 5%, 10% of society, yes? Then within the scope of Islam, you are a follower of the Ahl Bayt. It's an even smaller minority. Then within that scope as well, you're trying to practice your faith as well. Even smaller minority. How many of you are there within society? Ask yourself that question. I promise you, if you ask yourself that question, you won't be wasting your life so much. Don't be wasting time so much. You know why? Because you know there's very little of people like you. And you have a very important role to play. Every second that is going by, you are not the typical person in society. You are unique. And with that uniqueness comes a lot more responsibility. You know, some people, they only take the unique side of it. Yes, I am follower of Ahl Bayt. I am unique. Well, I hate to bring you the bad news. When you're unique, that means more responsibility. When you're special, that means what? More responsibility. You have to understand your place in society and then understand your place in history. For how many years your own parents, your own grandfathers, how many years was there that the Shi'i school of thought even had the opportunity to stand on its own 2 feet? You're special from this angle as well. And then you're sitting there and you want to live life like any other 20-year-old in society. No, that's for them. They don't have the sense of purpose that you have. They don't come from the heritage that you come from. They don't come from the belief that you come from. If he wants to waste his life, he can waste his life. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not going to blame him because he doesn't come from the heritage that you come from. You come from a different heritage. You come from a different cloth, which means you have more responsibility. You take your life seriously. What did you do today? Oh no, Shaykh, today was the gaming day. So we put on the headsets, mashallah. And we went for 3 or 4 hours. Shaykh, just to, give off some steam, yes? Blow off some steam. 3 or 4 hours is blowing off steam nowadays, yes? High aspirations in life. Be goal-oriented. Go after those goals. Short-term pleasures that come your way. Of course you take breaks. I don't need to tell you you have to take breaks. You're already taking enough breaks, most of us. You take breaks. You are goal-oriented. You go after your goal. Number 1 fundamental element that makes a man is that he is goal-oriented. The younger he is, the more he's supposed to be goal-oriented. Some of us, we're putting in the effort that our 80-year-old retired uncle is putting into life. He's 80 years old. He's retired. This guy's 20. It's the same amount of effort. This is elements number 1. Aloud salawat, please. If I take this seriously and I set goals for myself and I begin achieving these goals, what happens to my life? You will build something that every young man is looking for, and that is what they call self-esteem. This is very important. Self-esteem, brothers and sisters, self-esteem doesn't come from your thick voice. Self-esteem doesn't also come from your tattoos. Self-esteem doesn't come from the type of drip you're wearing when you go home. It doesn't come from that whip you're driving. It doesn't come from the swag you have. It doesn't come from any of these things. You know where self-esteem comes from? Self-esteem comes from you making promises and goals and then slowly making your way towards that goal. That's self-esteem. This young man looks at himself, that other people can doubt me. I've set a goal for myself, and I have a reputation of keeping that promise to myself. The self-esteem that this builds is nothing. Now this one, he's worried still about, is his beard going to connect or not? That's not what's going to give you self-esteem. Set a goal for yourself in life. And if the goal is too big, start with smaller things. Build that confidence in yourself. This is how you build self-esteem in yourself. And then you can do big things in the future. Never look down on yourself and say, oh yes, there's other people, they do big things in life. Why not you? Why can't you be that one who does big things in life? You can be the one who can do big things in life. Start from smaller things, build that self-esteem. Number 1, setting a goal, being focused on that goal. Number 2, health and physical wellness. You don't have to come and be looking like a model. We don't need that. But you have to be very thoughtful about what you put in your body. It's a sad thing, brothers and sisters. Anywhere you go, these young men, they're smoking. I'm not a fan. Why? Why are you putting this in your body? This body of yours that is an amana from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you're only going to get one of it for the next 80, 100 years, whatever the case might be. And now at the age of 20, you don't have the insight to plan for the next 60, 70 years. You know how much investment went into you? You know how much your parents had to go through just for you to get to this point? And now this physical body of yours that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you this health, now with my own two hands, I'm ruining it. Why? What's the necessity for this? Be thoughtful about what you do with your body. You only get one of it and it doesn't change anymore. And once it goes south, then you can't stop it anymore. This is element number 2. A young man has to look after his physical wellness and his health. Elements number 3, brothers and sisters. A young man needs to plan so that he knows in the future how is he going to be able to provide and protect. This verse of the Quran, verse 34 of Surah An-Nisa, Surah number 4, that says, "Ar-rijalu qawwamuna 'ala an-nisa." The men are qawwamun. This young man thinks this means he's always in charge. No, it doesn't mean you're always in charge. It means you're the maintainer. It means you're the one who's serving. It means you're the one who is preserving family. Responsibility, not privilege. Responsibility. You're that one who has to put himself through difficulty before other people go through difficulty. You're the one who's going to have to become the one that has to provide. You are going to become a resource for yourself at the first level, for your family at the second level, for your community at the third level. And when I say community, I mean beyond racial lines. Let me put it this way. You need to plan for your life in such a way that you become a resource. Why? Because I will tell you this without any shadow of a doubt. There's going to come a time in your life where Islam will need you. The cause of Islam is going to need you. Your talents, your skills, your resourcefulness. There's going to come a time, the cause of Ahl Bayt in particular is going to need you. You're going to have to be the one who uplifts other people. Those other people might be immediately within your family. They might be within your community. They might sometimes be on the other side of the world. They might be in Gaza. They might be in Kashmir. They might be anywhere in the world. Islam is going to need you. Plan for that day. Become a resourceful person. What type of skills are you building? What type of capabilities are you building? Some say, we have to prepare for the 12th Imam when he comes. That is also true. Even if the 12th Imam doesn't come in my lifetime. Aren't there Muslims who are severely in need today? Aren't there refugees that don't have lives, brothers and sisters? Why can't I become a resourceful person to bring that peace and tranquility to those who don't have what I have? Especially those of them who come from your own school of thought, who might otherwise be neglected by others. Why can't you become that person? Providing, protecting. This is part of your responsibility. This is element number 3. Moving on to element number 4. A loud salawat, please. Element number 4, you are going to have to be the one who brings within himself braveness and protects his family from threats. When a threat comes, you're the one who has to deal with it. Now you're 20, they ask you to go up to the front desk and ask a question, you're not able to do it. That's a problem. There's going to come a time, there will come threats your way and your family's way. You have to be the one who is able to stand up and protect your family. But now here is where the discussion takes a turn, and one very important one that is. Why? Because in today's world, and alhamdulillah, the societies that we live in are safe societies generally speaking. The threat that comes your way is less physical, it is more mental and emotional. And because the threat is more mental and emotional, all of our young men have to learn to build emotional stability. You can't be that young man that one day he's so happy the world is super bright for him. 30 minutes later, he's at the bottom of the world is dark. One moment he's happy, he's cracking jokes, everything is wonderful. The next moment, he's dark and he's angry. Emotional stability, brothers and sisters. Stay in the middle. Something happens that's good for you, you become happy, but not too happy. Be mature. There's going to be tests. The Quran says some people are the type, when we give them good times, what do they say? لَيَقُولَنَّ ذَهَبَ السَّيِّئَاتُ عَنِّي. Oh, all the bad times are over. No, the bad times are not over. This is good time, bad times will come too. Celebrate this one, but bad times are going to come too. And then the Quran says there are those, when we give them a little bit of bad time, إِنَّهُ لَيَئُوسٌ كَفُورٌ. He's lost all of his hope. And the Quran says, neither of these is what I want from you. I want you to be a little happy when good things happen, and you get a little sad when bad things happen. This is the emotional stability that you have. A man that doesn't have this emotional stability can never become the refuge of his family. He will become the burden to his family. The number of families we have in our communities, brothers and sisters, the family has to take care of the father. The family has to take care of the husbands. Why? Because God forbid you tell him the wrong thing. God forbid he gets angry. God forbid you say the wrong thing in front of him. Oh, all hell breaks loose now. So now the children in the house have to walk on eggshells. The wife in the house has to walk on eggshells. Because God forbid he hears this. Who taught you this? What type of masculinity is this anyways? You want to become that rock for your family? Build emotional stability. And in order to do that, you have to learn from a young age to control your anger. Your anger is something that will only come to your benefit in very rare situations. It's there for a reason. God put it there for a reason. But you have to manage it from a young age. How often do we find young couples come when they're 17, 18, 24, 25? Yes, inshallah, they're getting married in the future. Yes? They come 6 months before the marriage, 2 months before the marriage. One scenario I had, it was the day before the nikah. Shaykh, we want to do marriage consultation. Marriage consultation, we want to do counseling. I want to learn what are the characteristics I have to build in myself to be prepared for marriage. You want to get ready for marriage 24 hours before your nikah? It's more like 24 years before your nikah you're supposed to start preparing. Controlling your anger for our brothers is something that starts from a young age. You don't want to become that young man who, the moment they say something wrong to him, all of a sudden he turns into the amazing Hulk. Starts tearing everything apart and, loses control of himself. No, hold your anger. This is why the narrations emphasize this so much. They said that anger that you swallow is the best thing that you have ever put aside. Take a look at the narration of the sixth Imam, Al-Imam As-Sadiq, salawatullahi wa salamuhu alayhi. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa Muhammad. The narration said, وَمَا تَجَرَّعْتُ. I have never swallowed anything. Yes? Set down anything. Set aside anything. وَمَا تَجَرَّعْتُ جُرْعَةً أَحَبُّ إِلَيَّ. Anything better than the anger that I set aside. Why did the Quran or the Hadith use the terminology swallowing? Because it's difficult. Because when someone looks you in the eyes and says something that doesn't sit well with you, you can already feel within yourself what? Things are boiling up. And unless you learn in life to control that from a young age, this anger is one of those elements that can ruin the life of any young man in the blink of an eye. All it takes is for him to get angry, ram his car into something. All it takes is for him to get angry, pick up a knife and do something. Yes, these things happen. One community we had, they had gotten together because one of the youth had passed away. In the basketball court, they got into a fight. One of the youth went, grabbed his gun, came, and shot another one. Why? Because he called a foul on me. Sounds very silly to us, but this is what anger does. Anger doesn't understand these things. That's why the narration said anger is a type of junoon. It's a type of insanity. Because you don't even know what you're doing. Now's the time to start working on it. You're 10, start controlling your anger. You're 12, you're 15, you're 17, start learning to control your anger. This is that thing that can ruin a whole life in a blink of an eye. Of those elements, brothers and sisters, you have to protect. That means having emotional stability. Let us move on to number 5, brothers and sisters. This one I'm not going to explain too much about, yes? All I'll say is one word, hygiene. I don't need to go into detail here, yes? Let us move on to number 6. Number 6, brothers and sisters, manners. Nothing makes you more attractive as a young man than having beautiful manners. That's why the first Imam, Ali ibn Abi Talib, salawatullahi wa salamuhu alayhi, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. In this short narration, in this beautiful narration, what did the Imam say? He said, La zinata kal adab. There's no ornament like adab. There's nothing you can bring onto yourself that makes you more beautiful, more appealing, makes your character so amazing than adab. Sometimes you see young men come into the gathering, the way he walks, the way he talks, the way he carries himself. Wasn't this how Ali Akbar was? You know, when Imam Hussain sent Ali Akbar to the battlefield, we'll talk about it in Masa'ib tonight, yes? What did he say? He said, Allahumma shahad, faqad baraza ilayhim ghulam. Now I'm sending this young man, ashbaha bi Rasulillah. He's the one who's the closest to the Prophet. Khalqan wa khulqan. He walks and talks and carries himself like the Prophet. Oh, so beautiful. Manners, brothers and sisters. Sulaiman ibn Mahran, narrator, companion of the 6th Imam, Al-Imam al-Sadiq, salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. He says, I came, dakhaltu, upon the 6th Imam. وَعِنْدَهُ نَفَرٌ مِنَ الشِّيعَةِ, and there were from the Shia people who were present in his presence. He says, I came and I sat to listen what he is saying in that gathering. He said, مَعَاشِرَ الشِّيعَةِ, all the masses of the Shia. This is a message for everyone. Message for all of us. He said, مَعَاشِرَ الشِّيعَةِ كُونُوا لَنَا زَيْنًا. Be that ornament for us. This is the standard. This is the golden standard. The 6th Imam said, when you walk, when you talk, when you carry yourself, people have to come and say, wow, is that the Shi'i brother you were talking about? Is that the Ja'fari one? You said you have a friend who's Ja'fari. Is that him? The way he walks, the way he talks, the way he carries himself. He said, Kunu lana zayna, wa la takunu alayna shayna. Don't be the type who walks and talks and carries himself, and then people say, did you see? This is the Shi'i one, yeah? He's Shia. This is what they do. In the other narration, the 6th Imam said, when you don't do well, people point to us. They say, Hada adabu Ja'far. This is what their master teaches them. This is what they're worthy of. That adab that you carry. Then the Imam continued, and he said, one thing I don't want you to do is qabih al-qawl, foul language. I know in society, on social media, on TV shows, we are taught that the more foul your language, the more attractive your character becomes. I promise you that's not the case. The less foul language, the more appealing your character becomes. The more you think about what you say before you open your mouth, that is appealing. That is attractive, brothers and sisters. Manners can take a person who's at a very low level and give him a lot of sharaf, can give him a lot of important significance. Of those elements is number 6, manners. And when those manners come into the picture, maybe more than any other time, is when you are dealing with the opposite gender. Lower your gaze. Put your head down. You're going to enter into a room. Don't just walk in. Say, Ya Allah, make sure everyone is in proper clothing, so on. Be considerate. The way you speak to the opposite gender is one of the most fundamental ways you show your adab. And unfortunately, we are being raised in a society where we're taught that you can speak to the opposite gender however you like and however you wish. No. Islam didn't say that. Islam said you show manners when you come and you go. Lower your gaze, speak in respectful terms and respectful manners. Be more respectful when it comes to the opposite gender than your own gender. Be extra respectful. It won't be enough. It'll never be too little. It'll never be too much. Be extra respectful. This goes a long way. This is part of your manners. And this brings us, brothers and sisters, to the final element that makes a man from the Islamic perspective, and that is his relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. At the end of the day, as much as he puffs up his chest and as much as his voice is thick, if he doesn't have something to fall back on, he will crumble. You might have seen these podcasters who come out and they spread this red pill masculinity and this and that. The moment the pressure becomes too much, all of a sudden he's crying and he's yelling and he's screaming in the same podcast. Why? Because he's only relying on himself. No, you can't go at life on your own. You build that relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the strongest way for you to build that relationship is your 5 daily prayers. If you do your daily prayers well, it will change your life. Don't take my word for it. This is the promise of the Quran. The Quran said, Inna salata tanha anil fahsha'i wal munkar. The Quran said it will forbid you. You might still end up committing certain things, yes? But the Quran said that voice inside of you will become so strong, it will constantly bother you when you come across haram. And guess what? The Quran said that those servants of mine that are special servants are those who fear me. And then the Quran explained who are those who fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The Quran said, وَنَهَا النَّفْسَ عَنِ الْهَوَىٰ. Those servants, when they come across haram, their default position is, I don't want to engage in this sin. Does it mean they never engage in the sin? No, sometimes they do. Sometimes shaitan gets the best of them. Sometimes shaitan tricks them. But his default position is what? No, I don't want to do this. What gives you this disposition? Salat gives you this disposition. 5 times every day. If you do it and you do it well, it's the promise of the Quran. Don't take my word on it. The Quran said if you do it well, it will give you the best chance to revolutionize your life. All of these elements, brothers and sisters, you find in which companion of our beloved third Imam? You find it in Ali Akbar. Yes? If it's the salat, you see it in Ali Akbar. If you see the manners, you see it in Ali Akbar. Yes? If you see the goal-oriented and being brave and being the one who protects, that's why Hussain chose him. Maybe on the 7th night, on the 8th night, go and bring some water for these women and children, yes? And Ali Akbar went and brought back this water for these women and children. Whatever you speak of when it comes to masculinity, all of it boils down to this character that is Ali Akbar. You don't have to go look elsewhere. You don't have to look for other role models. When you have someone like him, when you mention his name, you get goosebumps. What greater role model than Ali Akbar? Allah. This character was so special for Hussain. And this is why when the moments came where Hussain had to give away Ali Akbar as a gift to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it broke the heart of Hussain like anything else. Sallallahu alayka ya Aba Abdullah. Sallallahu alayka ya Ibn Rasulillah. How painful is it for a father when he sees a young man, his own son, walking in front of him? This father has spent his whole life nurturing this child. This father has spent every living moment taking care of this child. And now the child has become the type of child that makes his father proud. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala pinpoints that child and he says, Hussain, if you want to prove your love to me, I'm going to take Ali Akbar away from you. What type of pain did the heart of Hussain go through? Yes? You know why? Because every step Ali Akbar made him prouder and prouder and prouder. And the narration says on the way to the plains of Karbala, Imam al-Hussain took that nap. And when he woke up, he said, Inna lillah wa inna ilayhi raji'un 3 times. Ali al-Akbar came, my father, why are you doing istirja? He said, I saw a rider riding beside us and said, this caravan is only moving towards death. There's nothing else that's going to come out of this journey other than death. And Ali al-Akbar stood there in front of his father. And he said, my father, alasna ala al-haqq, are we not upon the truth? Aren't we on the right side of history? And his father said, yes, my son, we are on the right side of history. And Ali al-Akbar said, إِذَنْ لَا نُبَالِي, we don't care. It doesn't bother us that we will be killed on this path. But of course, Hussain was thinking in those moments what? Hussain was thinking in those moments, oh Ali, you may not care, but your old father is going to have to go through the musibah of losing his son. Maybe in those moments, Hussain was looking forward to the 10th of Muharram. He knows what's going to happen on the 10th of Muharram until that day finally came. And maybe before that, every time he sees Ali al-Akbar, he's thinking how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to test him with this son of his. The 10th of Muharram came around. The companions all went to the battlefield. They were all martyred. Then Hussain looks at his camp and doesn't find anyone else from the companions. All that is left is from the family of Hussain now. But of course, Hussain is the one to send his own child first and foremost. The narration says Ali al-Akbar began to make his way towards the tent of Hussain. I swear, the heart of Hussain must have skipped a beat in the middle of all of this when he saw Ali al-Akbar come, because he knew the difficulty of this test, yes? He knew how difficult this one was going to be. The narration says he came into the tent, he stood in front of his father, and he started to ask for permission. فَاسْتَأْذَنَ أَبَاهُ. You know, the narration says quickly Hussain gave him permission. Quickly Hussain told him, go Ali, go, don't do this to my heart. How can Hussain stand there and watch Ali al-Akbar in these moments? فَاسْتَأْذَنَ أَبَاهُ فَأَذِنَ لَهُ. Before Ali al-Akbar could even insist, Hussain said, Ali, go quickly. Don't even stand in front of me. What am I going to do with my heart if you're standing in front of me? But Ali al-Akbar, if you're going to go, my dear son, go before you head out. Go to the tent of these women and children. Say your final farewell to these women and children. Let them see you one final time, because when they see you, it brings a smile to their face. The narration says Ali al-Akbar began to make his way towards the tent. And these are the words from some of the maqatil, yes? The moment he entered into the tent, the narration says, فَأَحَتْنَا بِهِ. Everyone gathered around Ali al-Akbar. You know, when that father figure comes in somewhere, everybody gathers around him. Ali al-Akbar came into the tent. All of these women and children gathered around him. And then the narration says, فَتَعَلَّقْنَا بِأَطْرَافِهِ. Some of these children started to pull on the clothes of Ali. Our uncle Ali, where are you going? Why are you leaving us here in the plains of Karbala? Why would you leave us for captivity and isara? What can Ali al-Akbar say in these final moments? Imagine what he said to each of these children. Imagine how many times he embraced each of these children. Maybe he comes to kiss his brother Ali al-Asghar one more final time. Maybe if his mother's there, he speaks a couple words with his mother in those final moments. What did Zainab say to Ali al-Akbar in those moments? All we know is when Ali al-Akbar came out of this tent, and he got on his horse, and in front of him, this ocean of an army, his old father came and stood at the front of the tent, at the entrance of the tent. And the maqatil say, فَأَرْخَى عَيْنَيْهِ وَبَكَى. His eyes filled up with tears, and the tears started to flow. Yes, the silent cry of a father is something else altogether. His tears continue to flow, and Ali al-Akbar is now preparing. And before he heads off, Hussain, the only thing he could do was raise his hands and complain to Allah and speak his pain to Allah. He said, Allahumma shahad, oh Allah, you bear witness. فَقَدْ بَرَزَ إِلَيْهِمْ غُلَامٌ. Now I'm sending Ali al-Akbar. Now I'm sending the young man. He's just like the Prophet. Oh Allah, every time we miss your Prophet, فَقَدْ اشْتَقْنَا إِلَى رَسُولِكَ نَظَرْنَا إِلَيْهِ. We used to look at Ali al-Akbar anytime we miss your Prophet. Oh Allah, look at what I'm sending now. And then Hussain called out to the other side, because the pain of the father is too much, yeah? He called out to the other side. He called out, he said, Ya Umar ibn Sa'ad, قَطَعَ اللَّهُ رَحِمَكَ كَمَا قَطَعْتَ رَحِمِي. May God put you through this pain that you are putting me through, because now the heart of Hussain is being ripped ripped apart. And the narration says Ali al-Akbar made his way into the battlefield. His father watching from far away, Zainab watching from far away, the women and the children watching from far away. He goes into the battlefield. He fights bravely. He returned back to the tent. All of a sudden, Hussain saw his son coming back. He said, "Father, I have one more question for you. Ali, why have you come back in the middle of the battle? Go back to the battlefield." He said, "Father, وَالثِّقْلُ الْحَدِيدِ أَجْهَدَنِي." Yes, the weight of this armor is killing me. It's too difficult for me to take this. And the heat of this day is killing me. فَهَلْ إِلَى شُرْبَةٍ مِّن مَّاءٍ مِّن سَبِيلٍ. Is there a little bit of water I can get my hands on? Ali didn't ask even for a glass of water. He asked min shurbatin, even a little bit of water so I can defend you better, my father. And Hussein embraced him and kissed Ali al-Akbar. He said, "Ya Ali, go back to the battlefield because very soon your Jad, your grandfather, will come and visit you. And he will take care of your thirst. And he will quench your thirst." Ali al-Akbar now returns back to the battlefield and he fights bravely until that time came where he was struck and he fell from the horse and he said, "Ya Abata, my father, come." And the narration said Hussein ran like a lion on that day. There were only moments in the 10th of Muharram where Hussein ran like never before. This was one of those moments. Hussein ran in the plains of Karbala, and then the narration says all we saw in those final moments was Hussein put his face on the face of Ali al-Akbar, and he kept saying this one line, "Ya Ali, ala dunya ba'daka al-afa." I don't want this world after you. I don't want to be alive after you. The troops on the other side said, "We saw." He kept speaking to Ali al-Akbar and the lifeless body of Ali al-Akbar on the ground, maybe not even in one piece anymore. And then the narration says he called the others to come and take your brother Ali al-Akbar all the way back to the tents. And this was the last line of Hussein on that day. When they brought the body of Ali al-Akbar all the way back, he said this one line. He said, "Amma ants, when it comes to you, فَقَدْ اسْتَرَحْتَ مِنْ هَمِّ الدُّنْيَا." Oh Ali, you went and now you are free from the difficulties of this world. وَبَقِيَ أَبُوكَ, but you left me behind. You left your old father behind with all of this pain, with all of this musibah. What am I supposed to do here with all of this pain and agony, Ya Ali? ألا لعنة الله على القوم الظالمين وسيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون. Let us take our hearts on this night of Tasu'a and send our salams to our beloved third Imam. As-salamu alayka ya Aba Abdullah وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك عليك مني جميعا سلام الله أبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار. Say this line with me. This might be the final ashra that we go through, God forbid. Say this line with me. ولا جعله الله آخر العهد مني لزيارتكم. Everyone. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاده الحسين وعلى أصحابه. One more time. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته.
جوانی میں مرنے کی حسرت ہے کس کی، ضعیفی میں کاندھوں پہ میت ہے کس کی، خدا دشمنوں کو یہ غم نہ دکھائے کبھی، ضعیفی میں یہ غم کوئی دل نہ پائے کبھی، جوان کی ہے میت یوں دل سے لگا لے ابھی، یہ کون آ رہا ہے یوں ٹھوکریں کھا کے ابھی، بہن کو یہ مولا کی آواز آئی، اندھیرا ہے آنکھوں میں مجبور بھائی، یہ لاشا اٹھائے یا دل کو سنبھالے ابھی، ذرا بچوں کو بھیجو کہ میت اٹھائے ابھی، دعا ماں یہ کرتی تھی زندہ رہو تم، پھلو پھولو آباد شاد رہو تم، یہاں ماں دعا میں مصلی بچھائے ابھی، وہاں لاش بیٹے کی خیمے میں آئے ابھی، یا حسین 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 حسین
علی علی اکبر علی 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 اکبر علی علی شبہ پیمبر علی علی
شبیہ پیمبر علی 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 اکبر علی علی everyone together علی علی اکبر علی علی شبیہ پیمبر علی علی شبیہ پیمبر علی علی
together Ali Ali Akbar Ali Ali together Ali Ali Akbar Ali Ali شبه پیمبر علی علی پیمبر علی علی
اے جانم نظر اٹھا کے تم کو دیکھو اے بیٹا
اے جانم
کیوں سر جھکائے کھڑے ہوئے ہو اے بیٹا
اے جانم
تم ہی تو مادر کا آسرا ہو اے بیٹا
ماتم
اے جان مادر
علی علی اے جان مادر علی علی
شبیہ پیمبر
علی علی شبہ پیمبر علی 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 اکبر علی 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 اکبر علی علی شبہ پیمبر علی علی شبہ پیمبر علی علی Oh Ali Akbar, like your grandfather, so generous. Ay Janam, so kind and faithful, patient and truthful and pious. Ay Janam, oh son of Hussain, you always showed the best manners. Manners of the Prophet Ali Ali, manners of the Prophet Ali Ali, vision of the Prophet Ali Ali, vision of the Prophet Ali Ali, Ali Ali Akbar Ali Ali, Ali Ali Akbar Ali Ali, شبه پیمبر علی علی شبه پیمبر علی علی
علی علی اکبر علی
علی علی علی اکبر علی علی شبه پیمبر علی علی شبه پیمبر علی علی ای جانم
اے میرے یوسف جمال اکبر رک جاؤ
اے جانم
نہ جی سکے گی تمہاری مادر رک جاؤ
اے جانم
سہے گی کیسے یہ داغ سرور رک جاؤ رکو اے صفدر
علی علی رکو اے صفدر علی علی شبہ پیمبر علی علی شبہ پیمبر علی علی together علی علی اکبر علی علی together brothers علی علی اکبر علی شبہ پیمبر علی علی شبہ پیمبر علی 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 اکبر علی 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 اکبر علی علی شبہ پیمبر علی علی شبہ پیمبر علی علی ای جانم the bravest lion in the battlefield, scared of none. Ay Janam, but come back Akbar, call out the ladies to their son. Ay Janam, oh Ali Akbar, come take a taste from your father's tongue. The thirst of Hussain Ali, Ali together. The thirst of Hussain Ali, Ali. The thirst of Hussain Ali. Ali, شبه پیمبر علی علی شبه پیمبر علی 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 اکبر علی علی
علی علی اکبر علی
علی شبه پیمبر علی علی شبه پیمبر علی علی ای جانم
نبی کی صورت نبی کی سیرت اے اکبر
ای جانم
نساء निसार तुझ पे जहां की अजमत है अकबर
जाना
पुकारती है तुझे शहादत है अकबर
Matam قول حيدر علي علي together قول حيدر علي علي شبه بينبر علي علي شبه بينبر علي علي together علي علي أكبر
علي علي
علي علي أكبر علي علي شبه بينبر علي علي شبه بينبر علي علي جانا as you fell, one hand on your chest and one hand raised. Ay Jana, Salamun alaykum. Oh Father, my life I gave. Ay Jana, was there a prince of Hashemis like you, so brave? Grandson of Haydar Ali, Ali together. Grandson of Haydar Ali, Ali. Shabih Payambar Ali, Ali. شبه بينبر علي 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 أكبر علي علي together علي علي شبه بينبر علي علي شبه بينبر علي علي اي جانم
पदर की आंखों का नूर हो तुम दिल बर
اي جانم
सुना है जख्मों से चूर हो तुम दिल बर
اي جانم
क्यों हाय मादर से दूर हो तुम दिल बर
Matam दुआए मादर अली अली दुआए मादर अली अली शबह पैगंबर अली अली शबह पैगंबर
अली 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 अकबर
अली 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 अकबर अली अली शबह पैगंबर अली अली शबह पैगंबर अली अली ऐ जाना Ali Akbar when you fell in that final fight. Ay Jana, oh Ali Akbar, look at your father's lost his sight. Ay Jana, oh Ali Akbar, look at your mother, how she cries. Yusuf and Layla, Ali Ali together. Yusuf and Layla, Ali Ali. Shabih Payambar Ali Ali. شبه بينبر علي 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 أكبر علي 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 أكبر علي علي شبه بينبر علي علي شبه بينبر علي علي
صلوا على محمد وآل محمد
إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما سبحان الله والحمد لله ولا إله إلا الله والله أكبر ولله الحمد الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله أشهد أن عليا ولي الله أشهد أن عليا حجة الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح حي على خير العمل حي على خير العمل الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله وصل اللهم على سيدنا ونبينا محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين وسلم تسليما كثيرا.
الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد وأن عليا حجة الله صلوات الله وسلامه عليه حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح حي على خير العمل حي على خير العمل قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله استغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه الله أكبر بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد الله أكبر سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده سمع الله لمن حمده الله أكبر
سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. الله أكبر. بحول الله وقوته أقوم وأقوم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. الله أكبر. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم ارزقنا توفيق الطاعة وبعد المعصية. اللهم عجل لوليك الفرج. اللهم اغفر للمؤمنين والمؤمنات والمسلمين والمسلمات. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وتقبل شفاعته وارفع درجته. بحول الله وقوته أقوم وأقوم. سبحان الله والحمد لله ولا إله إلا الله. سبحان الله والحمد لله. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. يا لطيف ارحم عبدك الضعيف. الله أكبر. بسم الله وبالله الحمد لله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد أستغفر الله الذي لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم الرحمن الرحيم ذو الجلال والإكرام وأتوب إليه اللهم إني أسألك موجبات رحمتك وعزائم مغفرتك والنجاة من النار ومن كل بلية والفوز بالجنة والرضوان في دار السلام وجوار نبيك محمد عليه وآله السلام اللهم ما بنا من نعمة فمنك لا إله إلا أنت استغفرك وأتوب إليك
الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله اللهم صل على محمد أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله اللهم صل على محمد وأن عليا حجة الله صلوات الله وسلامه عليه حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح حي على خير العمل حي على خير العمل قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله استغفر الله ربي وأتوب الله أكبر بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد الله أكبر سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده سمع الله لمن حمده الله أكبر سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده الله أكبر الله أكبر سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده الله أكبر بحول الله وقوته أقوم وأقعد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر الله أكبر اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد اللهم ارزقنا توفيق الطاعة وبعد المعصية اللهم عجل لوليك الفرج اللهم اغفر للمؤمنين والمؤمنات والمسلمين والمسلمات الله أكبر سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده سمع الله لمن حمده الله أكبر سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده الله أكبر الله أكبر سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وتقبل شفاعته وارفع درجته. بحول الله وقوته أقوم وأقعد. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. الله أكبر. بحول الله وقوته أقوم وأقعد. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. يا لطيف ارحم عبدك الضعيف. الله أكبر. بسم الله وبالله الحمد لله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. أستغفر الله الذي لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم الرحمن الرحيم ذو الجلال والإكرام وأتوب إليه. اللهم إنه ليس لي علم بموضع رزقي وإنما أطلبه بخطرات تخطر على قلبي فأجول في طلبه البلدان فأنا في معنى طالب كالحيران لا أدري في سهل هو أم في جبل أم في أرض أم في سماء أم في بر أم في بحر وعلى يدي من ومن قبل من وقد علمت أن علمه عندك وأسبابه بيدك وأنت الذي تقسمه بلطفك وتسببه برحمتك. اللهم فصل على محمد وآله واجعل يا ربي رزقك لي واسعا ومطلبه سهلا ومأخذه قريبا، ولا تعنني بطلب ما لم تقدر لي فيه رزقا، فإنك غني عن عذابي وأنا فقير إلى رحمتك. فصل على محمد وآله وجد على عبدك بفضلك إنك ذو فضل عظيم. السلام عليك يا رسول الله، السلام عليك يا أمير المؤمنين، السلام عليك يا فاطمة الزهراء سيدتي نساء العالمين، السلام عليك يا خديجة الكبرى أم المؤمنين، السلام عليك يا حسن المجتبى، السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله، وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك. عليكم مني جميعا سلام الله أبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار، ولا جعله الله آخر الهدي مني لزيارتكم. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين، خصوصا سيدي ومولاي أبو الفضل العباس وأختك زينب وبنتك سكينة وأم كلثوم وأم البنين وكل شهيد بكربلاء. السلام على 9 المعصومين من ذريتهما علي بن الحسين يا زين العابدين، ومحمد بن علي الباقر، وجعفر بن محمد الصادق، وموسى بن جعفر الكاظم، وعلي بن موسى الرضا، وأختك معصومة، ومحمد بن علي التقي الجواد، وعلي بن محمد الهادي النقي، والحسن بن علي العسكري، والحجة بن الحسن يا مهدي. أجل الله فرجه وسهل الله مخرجه وظهور، أجل الله لك ما وعدك من النصر وظهور الأمر ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم كن لوليك الحجة بن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك توعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.